Donald Miller's Electrical Services. How are we doing today? It is Friday, 6/30/23. 4th of July weekend is about to start. And I didn't make a couple videos for a while. And I want to answer comments that were left about a day ago on one of my videos, all right? So the video was about how to deal with knob and tube if you're selling your home or if you're purchasing a home. All right. With knob and tube, and what has to be done is you have to remove the knob and tube. That is your best option. But you don't have to update the entire house to modern code. All right. And this is important because it can drastically affect the cost of your rewire. So here's this comment, all right, by Jeff-xy7fv. You can't just run one or two circuits. All new electrical work needs to comply with today's code. No, it doesn't. Okay, that includes the proper number of 20 amp kitchen appliance circuits. No, it doesn't. Bathroom, laundry circuits. Then there is a minimum number of lighting circuits that are needed as well, plus others. This guy doesn't have a clue. All right, so he's referring to new construction code, okay? And yes, so if you go pull a permit for new construction, there's a lot that you have to do compared to what is in the older homes, all right? And that's new construction. When you go and do a renovation permit, same thing. Whatever you're renovating, you have to abide by modern codes, all right? But when you do a knob and tube remediation, and this is where people have to be careful with who they hire, you only have to replace what is cloth conductors within the home. Now, if the cloth conductor is in the bathroom and it's an outlet, you do have to bring a 12 wire up to that area. Okay, so you have to install what is installed today, but I don't have to add outlets to a room because the linear wall footage requires it. That's not a knob and tube remediation. A knob and tube remediation states that per existing locations, I'm going to go in and I'm going to remove the knob and tube from the existing locations, and I'm going to install Romex wire. All right. Now, because they're in a bedroom, they have to be AFCI protected. But I don't have to force the new homeowner to pay for additional outlets because I'm remediating the knob and tube. You're grandfathered in to those old locations, okay? So again, if the kitchen doesn't have proper GFIs, I don't have to update the kitchen to modern standard GFIs. Now, if one of the kitchen counters needs to be rewired, then yes, I have to bring a 12 gauge wire up there with a GFI, but I don't have to force the homeowner to pay for things that weren't originally in the home when they went to purchase the home. Okay, and a lot of homeowners are being duped this way because when they go and get estimates for knob and tube, the estimate is very high because the contractor is trying to force them into updating their home to modern standards. They're trying to force them to do outlets within 6 feet of every opening and then every 12 feet after, okay? That's modern linear wall space for outlets. You don't have to make a homeowner do that, okay? Hardwired smoke detectors, okay? You don't have to force a homeowner to install hardwired smoke detectors unless the local municipality is requiring it, okay? So you do have to be careful with local municipalities. So when we go and we apply for permits in some townships, and we're doing a knob and tube remediation, some townships will request the homeowner to put additional outlets in, and usually it's in a crest with they're going to bend your arm to do it. So you might as well abide by them. But that's very rare, okay? Most knob and tube remediations, when you're getting into it, have to do with a real estate transaction. So if the buyer of the home accepts the home as it is, meaning there's 2 outlets for every room, but they want the knob and tube has to be remediated, you don't have to add outlets at the new buyer's expense. That just inflates your rewire cost, okay? And some people don't want to pay that extra money. Some people are perfectly acceptable the house as is, all right? So why would you try to force a purchase onto someone that doesn't even want it, all right? So I think, Jeff, I think you just have your codes mixed up, because when you get into the code book and you start studying the code book, you have new construction code, which means if all the plaster walls were down and it was stick framing, okay, then yes, I would have to abide by new construction codes, all right? But if the plaster's up, now you're getting into renovation or repair. So the question is it going to be a renovation type permit or a repair type permit? If they're not adding anything to the home and they're just remediating the knob and tube, then I would apply for a repair, because you're repairing what is existing. You're not adding, okay? There's definitely, when you get into the NEC code book, it is to be interpreted this way, all right? Now, going by each state, states might have this, so I might go into a different state, and yes, they might force you to update it, okay? Some states force you to remove all the knob and tube within the house. Even if you kill it, they want the physical knob and tube conductors removed, all right? And that's where you start getting into a little bit higher of a rewire cost. So there's a couple factors in it. It's not, you can't, it's not exactly the best comment to state, if depending on what state you're in, all right? I hope that answered it. God bless. Enjoy everyone's Friday. Happy 4th of July.